dear fellow Americans and friends, happy 4th of July. I'm Chris Landau, the U.S. Ambassador to Mexico, and welcome to our first ever Embassy 4th of July video. So we decided to make this video not as a sad reflection of what we would have done in person, but instead as an innovative and fun way for us to come together as a community. So sit down, relax, and enjoy.
Happy 4th of July!
We love the United States and Mexico.
Now let's join the U.S. Embassy Marine Guards for the traditional flag-raising ceremony at the American Cemetery in Mexico City. Hey guys, it's Steve Aoki. Happy 4th of July to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. I am looking forward to coming back to Mexico soon. Take care, guys.
What's up, everybody? Happy 4th of July on behalf of the Backstreet Boys. I'm Brian. Wanted to wish everybody a happy 4th. I hope you guys are enjoying the Independence Day. I hope you're staying safe, staying strong, and staying healthy. We had a chance to be down in Mexico earlier this year in February on the DNA World Tour, and we're looking so forward to coming back. God bless you guys. Happy 4th of July, and enjoy the day.
Happy 4th of July, Ambassador Landau, and all good wishes to our friends in Mexico. Viva Mexico! See you soon.
Hello, Ambassador Landau and everyone at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City.
We're casual, and we're so excited to join you on your virtual 4th of July celebration this year.
A todas y todos en México, les deseamos buena salud y que estén muy bien. Disfruten el show.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, forever waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from
wishing the U.S. Embassy in Mexico a very happy July 4th. Everyone be happy, be healthy, be safe, I look forward to seeing you as soon as I can back in Mexico. Gracias, amigos.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jesse from Jesse and Joy, and I just wanted to stop by and say hi to all my friends at the American Embassy in Mexico City and wish you all a very happy 4th of July. Stay healthy, stay safe.
Hi, I am Joy from Jesse and Joy, and I just wanted to wish a very, very happy 4th of July to my dear friends in the American Embassy here in Mexico. Mwah.
My dear fellow Americans and friends, holidays, like most familiar things, tend to lose their original meaning over time. When you ask the average American what the 4th of July means to him or her, you'll probably hear about food or parties, cookouts, cotton candy, parades, fireworks. I always think of the 4th of July as the end of the beginning of summer. June is kind of the warm-up, when school lets out and things start to calm down a little bit. But the 4th of July really ushers in the season of vacation and fun. I suspect you wouldn't find a single person in 100 who immediately associates the 4th of July with politics. But that's actually what it is. It's the anniversary of one particular document, the Declaration of Independence, that's one of the most important political documents in the history of mankind. I don't know if all of you have had the chance to sit down and actually read the Declaration of Independence. If not, I encourage you to do so. It's readily available on the internet in both English and Spanish. It's not a particularly long or complicated document and shouldn't take you more than about 10 or 15 minutes from start to finish. It begins with the date that brings us all here today, July 4th, 1776. It then proceeds to make a series of political assertions that may seem obvious today, but were unspeakably radical at the time, when most people still believed in the divine right of kings. The most basic point is that each individual is endowed by God with certain natural rights, including, in the famous words that every American school child learns, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In other words, the state of nature is a state of freedom, not servitude. Individuals set up governments to enhance their ability to enjoy their God-given natural rights, not to constrain them. And that leads directly to the punchline. As the Declaration states explicitly, governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed, not vice versa. We don't enjoy freedom because the government lets us. Rather, the government exercises only the authority that we give it. Political power thus flows from the bottom up, not from the top down. The ultimate political power always rests with the people, and the government is their servant, not their master. And for that reason, the people always have the legitimate right to change their government if they wish. This timeless and universal message immediately resonated around the world, including in Europe with the French Revolution, and in Mexico and other Latin American countries, which just a few years later declared their own independence from the Spanish crown. The 4th of July, thus, is not just the United States Independence Day, but a turning point in human political history. Its message of the dignity of the individual and the primacy of the people over the state is a message of human empowerment. That simple message, which the Constitution turned into a concrete plan of government 11 years later, is all the more striking if you keep in mind that its authors were nothing more than a ragtag band of disgruntled colonists who were picking a fight with the most powerful king and army on earth. And that message is part of the American credo that, over the centuries, has lured so many men and women to our country in search of a better future for themselves and their families. I'd like to spend just a few minutes here today talking about one such man who received the shock of his life just 8 days after his 18th birthday. You see, on that day, March 12th, 1938, German tanks rolled into Austria and annexed that country into the German Reich. That was a calamitous event for many people, but especially for a young Viennese man of Jewish extraction who was set to finish high school in just 2 months. That man was my father. The message of July 4th, the message of freedom, had reached my father in Austria, and he wanted to go to the United States. The problem was he couldn't get a visa. And that problem is actually why I'm here with you today. You see, the country that gave my father a visa in the spring of 1938 was Colombia, South America. So, by himself, he took a train from Vienna to Amsterdam and set sail for Colombia. My most prized possession on earth is this postcard of the MS Columbia, the ship that took my father on his journey to freedom. It's dated August 13th, 1938, and is addressed to my grandparents in Vienna, telling them that my father was okay. As a parent, I can only imagine the relief they must have felt upon receiving this piece of paper. Even though my father didn't speak a word of Spanish when he arrived in Colombia, he quickly learned and thus began my family's long connection with Latin America. After a few somewhat comical odd jobs selling ice cream and cameras, my father secured a position with the Otis Elevator Company in Bogota and eventually managed to be transferred to their New York office. He arrived in New York Harbor by ship on July 1st, 1941, and less than a week later filed a declaration of intent to become a U.S. citizen, which was formalized in this document dated November 18th, 1941. But less than a month later, history once again upended his life when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor and the U.S. entered the Second World War. The most immediate effect of Pearl Harbor on my father's life is that the Otis Elevator Company informed him that he would be fired as of December 31st because, as an Austrian, he was now an enemy alien. In the classic American way, he thought that that was wrong and did something about it. On December 23rd, 1941, he petitioned the government for relief. He wrote this letter to the Attorney General of the United States, explaining his situation and asking for assistance. And he took a train to Washington the next day to present the letter in person. Shockingly to our modern sensibility, on December 24th, 1941, Christmas Eve no less, he actually got the relief he requested. the assistant to the Attorney General wrote this letter, copied to the Otis Elevator Company, stating that my father need not fear any interference by the Department of Justice or any other agency of the federal government with his continued employment. My father returned to New York, presented the letter, and wasn't fired. Instead, he quit to join the U.S. Army, and in little over a year later, he received this precious document, a certificate of naturalization as an American citizen. He fought for the United States in Europe and, as many of you know, later joined the Foreign Service and served as U.S. Ambassador to Paraguay, Chile, and Venezuela. To me, my father's story represents what the 4th of July is all about: the empowerment of the individual and respect for individual dignity by the government. So, on this 4th of July here in Mexico, let us salute and celebrate those who 244 years ago improbably declared their independence from the greatest power on earth and founded our country. Let us all be inspired, as was my father, by their vision and example. May God bless you, your families, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Mike Shinoda from Lincoln Park. I just want to take a second to say hi and happy 4th of July to all of our friends at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. Hope to be returning to the country soon. Take care.
Hi from Feds de Maná. Feliz 4 de Julio, amigos.
'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right.
Hi, this is Sheena Easton wishing everyone in the American Embassy in Mexico a very happy 4th of July.
Hello, I'm Joshua Bell, and happy 4th of July to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. I can't wait to see you in Mexico soon.
An important part of any holiday is the food, and it's no different in the United States on the 4th of July. Normally, I'd be celebrating with my family, enjoying some of summer's tastiest foods. This year, I'd like to virtually share some of my favorite 4th of July dishes with you: the hamburger and apple pie. Everyone knows the hamburger. It's a tradition to grill hamburgers for July 4th. The burger on a bun concept in the United States dates all the way back to the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair, which also introduced millions of Americans to new foods ranging from peanut butter to iced tea. I like my burger with lettuce, tomato, onions, relish, and lots of ketchup. But what's a good meal without dessert? And so we have apple pie, a delicious 4th of July tradition. Apple pie became popular in the United States in the early 1900s, and by World War II, soldiers would say that they were fighting for mom and apple pie. Apple pie became a symbol of American patriotism and still holds that place in American culture today. Thanks for joining me today in our first ever virtual 4th of July celebration in Mexico. May God bless you, your families, Mexico, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Hey, this is Todd Clauser, the band Love Electric here in Mexico City, wishing everybody at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico a happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day, United States.
Hi, I'm David Lons. I'm here in Cyprus, and I'm wishing you a very happy and safe July 4th.
Hi, this is your old friend Gary Lucas. Happy 4th of July to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. I can't wait to play in Mexico again, and I hope to see you really soon.
Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero apresta y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Ciño patria, tus sienes de oliva, de la paz el arcángel divino, que en el cielo tu eterno destino por el dedo de Dios se escribió. Mas si osare un extraño enemigo profanar con su planta tu suelo, pienso patria querida que el cielo un soldado en cada hijo te dio, un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero apresta y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón.